And ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we want to welcome you all to the Hello LLC. If you don't know what Hello stands for, let me get you up to speed. Hello is not just some cute and adorable, hey, how you doing? It literally stands for helping entrepreneurs leverage Web3 optimizations where we pivot you from 2D to 3D. It's not all about metaverse. It is literally about setting your foundations up first. A lot of the times people are not setting up their foundation and they're talking about AI. They're talking about how they don't want to implement metaverse, and they don't even much have square one put together. And this is where today's conversation is really going to take us onto a whole new level. Well, we're going to be talking about AI chatbots and metaverse. Is it a job stealer or is it a game changer? And for those of you that are joining us in the metaverse from your cell phone, from your laptop, from your VR headsets, I want to introduce you all to our brand new actual environment that we've created. And this is for our actual appointments. When we talk about that crusty, dusty Zoom, those of you that are watching us live on all of our feeds, this is our brand new immersive experience. We're taking this to a whole new level to where literally you can see that AI chat bot that we have behind us, we connected that to actually AI. So now people can come into our 3D immersive environment in Metaverse and have a chat bot talk to it. And this is what we kind of have to get out of our mind. When you go to Walmart, your ass is the robot checking out your own, groceries. When you go to all the rest of these stores, they're utilizing AI on you like no other. When you're on your phone right now, think of an elephant. I guarantee you by the end of the week, if not sooner, you're going to see an elephant pop up on your social media at some way, some shape or form. And we all know this. We can be thinking about something. And so we can't be that naive when we talk about AI, especially when we know grammar check, especially when we know Alexa, especially when we know Siri. There's a lot of people that are riding around in brand new cars that's utilizing AI like no other. Some of you got AI for your AC. Turn down to this, up it to this, do that. And yet, we're still afraid to utilize this new technology when we've been utilizing this technology. And that's really what we're going to talk about today. The pros, the cons of AI, because we just don't want to talk about, oh, it's this, that, and the other. There are some cons to it. But as I shared, yesterday in my live, rich people think of solutions. Broke people think of problems. And I don't mean that in the pocketbook. It's really in your mindset of, are you being positive of how you look at these things or negative of how you look at these things? And that's really what we're going to dive into. If you guys don't know, me and Tara are digital nomads. We are blessed to have the opportunity to travel the world. We've lived in Colombia. We lived in Mexico now. We're probably going to go over to Thailand here in the next couple months. And so this is why we encourage you guys to open up your horizons, because there's so many things that we don't know about that we should know about. But because we allow our traumas, our dramas, our patterns, our programs really dictate how we live our life. I heard this amazing quote the other day. We are born looking like our mothers and fathers, but we live our lives with the decisions that we make. And the decisions that you make don't have to be your mothers and your fathers. Yes, you're going to have that resemblance, but guess what? If your mama or daddy's overweight and you decide to eat better and eat healthier, you're going to be skinnier. So you're not going to look like your parents anymore, or vice versa. And that's in anything in our lives. If your mom and dad do this and react this way and you change this way, then that's a different person. And this is where we all have the choice. We all have the decision of how we show up in life, and really not let other people dictate our thought process or tell us a story that they might not even know, especially when it comes down to this AI and this metaverse. I hear people that really don't know what they're talking about share with other people that they think they know what they're talking about, and they're absolutely spot wrong. When people talk about AI, they only talk about, Chat GPT, when there's thousands of apps out here that you guys could be utilizing for your business and your personal life all throughout your daily daily lives. And so that's really what we're going to tackle about today. Love, I would love for you to share your input. We always got stats and facts and a whole bunch of information for you guys to buckle up and hold on to. But Love, what's your first take on this topic? Talk to me.
Well, first of all, welcome on in, everybody. It's so good to be here. Happy Tuesday, because we are a Happy Tuesday and on a helpful How-To Tuesday. So, today's conversation is going to be a good one. We are not the experts. We do a lot of AI work. We're going to share what our experience is, how we utilize it, how it can help. But the whole point of today's conversation is for knowledge and awareness, so it helps others, grow. AI busted onto the scene, November of 2022, and or 2023. No, nope, 2022. Had it right the first time. Boy, I can't believe it's almost been 2 years already. But it's amazing because AI has revolutionized our daily lives, and a lot of times I share with people is we have to recondition our mindset to ask, like, is this task I'm doing right now something that I can streamline? Can I find an easier, faster way to do it? And I'm going to be very frank, there's a lot of people out there that are like, oh, anti AI. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with it. It's always good to, weigh both sides of the scale, as they say, and, view the pros and the cons. Um, but we have to be open-minded. As David and I always like to share, the four most expensive things that you can own are not even physical assets that you buy, that you have in your house, that you drive. The four most expensive things that you can own is a closed mind, a closed mouth, a closed heart, and a closed hand. And what does that mean? Well, you got to be open-minded. It doesn't mean you have to do everything, that you hear of or that you take everybody's opinion on, but be open-minded to listen to the ideas and then use judgment and knowledge to decipher what is the best decision for you. And closed mouth, why is that expensive? Well, a lot of times in our society, we don't ask for help. We've gotten into the position in life to not ask for help because it's kind of, I don't know if it's, the human ego that jumps in the way. I don't know if it's, being told to figure it out ourselves. Anybody who's really over the age of 35, you're a part of, generations that have been kind of forced to figure things out. And so, it's kind of that thing. So having a closed mouth and not asking people for help or asking questions, and being collaborative is, not the most best. Let me restate that. It's not the best way to use that. Having a closed heart, vibrational energy. We're not going to talk about that today. That's my Wisdom Wednesday days, but that's just if being able to understand where the journey people are going through. And a lot of times we close off our heart because we've been hurt, we've been burnt in the past by life lessons and all those things that happen, and we tend to close people off, which then leads to us not wanting to have an open hand, meaning not reaching for help, not helping others up when you've got to a position where you can, and not reaching up for other people's hands to be helping you. So those are the four most expensive things in life. And one thing I see a lot of times when it comes down to the AI conversation is people kind of draw a line in the sand and they stand on one side or the other. They are all for it or they're all against it. And that goes for metaverse as well, virtual reality. Today, David was doing some work in our Hello Plaza yesterday. And very grateful and thankful for him jumping in there and doing some rearranging and home decor, as they say. And I was looking at it today, and I was showing my mom, and my mom's 73 years old. She's a baby boomer, and she's like, "Wow, that's really cool." Like she's very technical advanced. She worked with computers all her life, every day, all day. But when you kind of get out of the job or the workforce or owning your own business, technology kind of goes to the wayside. And she's always kind of known what we do, but she hasn't ever got to see it in real life. And, we are able to incorporate AI and Metaverse together to be able to help businesses, and, whether they're small, medium, or large. And it's just kind of really cool that we are able to not only help people get their processes and their systems in place, help because of AI, and, doing those automated processes. But it really comes down to just the seeing is believing. David and I always like to joke around and say, hey, you remember the times that there was just a radio and people would listen to the night show, or a sports event on the radio, or the news on the radio, and then all of a sudden came out the TV and it was in black and white. But trying to explain somebody, what a TV was after they've been listening to the radio, they have to see it. And that's what AI and Metaverse is. And so I always share with people that, we have to kind of, as humans, pivot our thinking. It's real easy for us to get stuck in a one-track mind and say, nope, I did it like this forever. I'm going to do it like this, for the rest of my days. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. But you're working harder, not smarter. And as our community and society evolves, you're just going to add to your technical debt and really create a huge technical gap between you and the next person, or you and society. And it really will ultimately catch up and kind of, burn you, for the lack of better words. How many of you put your hand on a hot stove before, and how many of you want to do it again? I don't. I remember when I was a kid, my grandpa had just got done mowing the lawn, and he says, now, Tara, don't touch that muffler right there. It's hot. And he stepped away, walked inside to get something. And what did I do? I touched the hot muffler because, he told me not to. Oh my gosh, guys, I remember I think I was 4, maybe 5 when I did that. I am 42. I hold no bars about what my age I am, because I don't act it. But I will say,
and you're
I
hot.
still remember that. And what?
And you're hot.
I didn't catch that, love.
You're sexy. You're hot.
Oh, thanks. I want to act like I didn't hear it and make it say it 3 more times, ladies. So, anyways, so my point being, at the end of the day, is, I still remember that experience. And that's kind of like when everybody, I'm sure if we have some older generation, like the silent generation, our grandparents, or, older parents around that were around during the radio times only. And then they got to experience TV in black and white, and then color TV. And now they've got to experience, no phones to having a cell phone. There is an experience there. And that's, what the conversation we're going to have today, and how it's been able to help us in our business, and how it's been able to help those in our business, the clients that we help. And I'm actually, it's so funny, guys. I'm, day in Mexico. I'm currently in Idaho visiting my family, and I'm helping my brother digitalize his business. He's been an entrepreneur for umpteen years. He's 30, almost 30 years, and it's really incredible to see how old school he was doing things. He and his his business, people that work in his business, and there is nothing wrong with that. But boy, from somebody who it specializes in systems and processes, and using technology, using AI, using Metaverse to be able to help people work smarter, not harder. And especially it being my brother, I really like my brother, really care for my brother. We're not estranged as, some others are. And it's hard to watch somebody you care for work kind of harder, not smarter. And especially when we were raised to work, the most efficient way that is possible. We had a father and a mother who taught us things and taught us that change is good. I like change. My brother does too. It's funny. But when you're running 700 different directions, kind of keep the balls in the air, the plates spinning, and the sharks away, you don't really have time to think, how can I do this process easier? And a lot of times what happens is we find ourselves in survival mode. We're trying to just get the bills paid, the baby fed, the house clean, the dog from barking or eating the mail or whatever it is. We're just trying to survive. And it doesn't leave a lot of time for us to slow down and say, okay, how do I streamline this? How can I use technology to help me? And if you haven't built that habit, as we say, you know what, it takes 21 days. I read one place it takes 21 days. I read another place it takes 30. I've read another place it takes 2 days, however many days it takes to build a habit. We haven't stopped and really gathered that, and we haven't done it because as humans are constantly in survival mode of, oh, okay, to the next thing and the next task. And okay, I'm here and now I'm there. And what, you know, we all know that. We've all lived that. And it's just that state of survival that doesn't allow us to be creative. And so today's conversation is going to be around that. We're going to dive in, share with you guys how we're utilizing Metaverse, how you can utilize Metaverse, and how to also accompany that with AI. So I'm excited for this conversation. I also want to remind everybody this is an open forum for everybody to participate. So if you want to jump in, you want to share your knowledge, what you've been able to discover, how AI is helping you, how Metaverse is helping you, or it's not, you know, what maybe hiccups you've ran into, you know, we'll try to lend some support in that and say, you know, maybe try this. Again, if we don't know, we're going to tell you we don't know, but we just love to have this as an open conversation for everybody to participate. And we do understand that sometimes people are in listening mode. So if you're in listening mode only right now and still want to participate, drop it in the chat channel, drop it in the comments, drop it in a DM, send smoke signals, which would be working harder, not smarter. But you know, you get the drift. And so, and last but not least, before I pass this mic back over to my amazing Mr. Jones, is join us in Metaverse, guys. We have this live in Metaverse right now. We're live across, I think, almost 10 different platforms. So if you're listening in on Clubhouse, Chatter, LinkedIn, X Spaces, Facebook, Instagram, Twitch, LinkedIn Audio, LinkedIn Live. I mean, we got them all. So, you know, at the end of the day, join us in Metaverse. And how do you do that? You can do that from your phone, the same way that you're listening to us right now through an audio room. And the cool thing is you can jump in there and jump in the golf cart and drive the golf cart around while you're listening to us and run things over. There's nobody in there to run over in the sense of like humans. So you can run in the wall, run over the, you know, fences, the gates, drive it into the house. Doesn't matter. The beautiful thing, I will say this, and then we'll park my scooter here, is a few months ago we had bingo in our Metaverse room, and one lady accidentally jumped off the third floor of our mansion or our, you know, business there, and she's like, oh no, I fell. And I said, well, the good thing is that you didn't break any bones and there's no liability issues, and you're not going to sue us, and you don't got to go to the hospital. So we'll bring it back up and let's continue playing. So with that said, you won't hurt yourself, and nor will you hurt anybody else. So with that said, Mr. Jones, back to you, my love.
So true, so true. And you know, something that you shared, I hope people heard that, and I'm going to dive in on that as well. That our parents always shared with us, work smarter, not harder. And I know I used to try to get out of anything and everything I possibly could not to work harder. And now with AI, it's given us the opportunity to do exactly that. And people are still fearful of it. It's like people now all of a sudden want to work. It's like, no, stop. We get to copy, paste, drag, drop, and get to create at the speed of thought. And we no longer have to be that person to do everything. And yet people still choose to do things the hard way. Like earlier, if you guys are following us on Instagram, which I encourage you to follow, the Hello LLC, you know, there was this guy cooking this ramen that he put in the pot, and he dropped something, and he went to go and, you know, reach down and get it, and the pot of water splashed all over his back. And I was like, this is an example of people not being preventative with their business, of him not moving the pot, you know, handle over, and him not thinking, and boom, the water splashed all over him. And there's multiple things. You guys don't know, me and Tara are sideline comedians, so you're always going to get some comic relief from us. So definitely I encourage you guys to follow us. Not a lot on LinkedIn, more so on our TikTok and our Instagram and our Facebook, right? We definitely keep it classy over here on LinkedIn. But guys, this is where we really want you guys to take these laughable moments that we all laugh at. And the joke is not on him. The joke is really with the message on you. How far behind are you allowing your business to get, in this technical debt, as we see with Hobby Lobby, as we saw with Blockbuster, as we see with so many entrepreneurs that are utilizing outdated strategies, thinking that that's going to work, and it's not. We're moving to a digital age. We're moving to a whole entire new way of engaging with each other, especially when we talk about, AI and some of these, and metaverse to be one of the biggest things. Because as we're talking about AI that's been out for now, forever, but especially Chat GPT, it's, going on 2 years that people continuously keep talking about. Metaverse is right there with it. And the metaverse is, forecasted to bring $5 trillion, overall to the economy by 2030. We're literally talking about 6 years from now. And if you really want to be technical, this year is over with, which is why we share with, entrepreneurs, hey, are you really updating your business? When you were having champagne, saying all your New Year's resolutions and what you're going to do, did you do them? What did you change a light bulb in your company? Did you change a doorknob in your company? Are you doing the same things that you were doing before the pandemic, after the pandemic? And even furthermore, when we talk about people's foundations, a lot of the times we look at people's outdated websites, outdated link trees, and they're not changing it to their time. A lot of these apps that they've connected don't work, right? Or obsolete. And it's kind of like showing up to a banquet or to a networking event, and your shoes are not matching, your clothes are wrinkled, and your purse, isn't the most up-to-date purse, although that doesn't matter. But really, a lot of us, if we showed up in these networking events and there was a scorecard on your foundations and your systems of how easy you make it for your clients. Because now Tara sent me this message, we're dumber than goldfish. Goldfish have a longer attention span than we do. And if you're expecting your clients to go on Where's Waldo, for your information, or to even know what you do up front and center, I'm telling you right now, you're lost. You're losing at that. And not only that, understanding that the average age of the world is 30 years old. So a lot of us are a little bit more experienced in this thing called life, but we're forgetting that if we want to have a business, we got to keep up with these youngsters. We got to keep up with the times. And not only that, when I say keep up with the youngsters, let me remind you all that just about 7, 8 years ago, you were the same person that said, oh no, forget Facebook, that's for the kids. Oh no, forget Instagram, they're dancing on there. Oh no, forget TikTok, they're dancing on there. And people are doing the same damn thing right now with Metaverse. Oh no, that's for the gaming. And then before you know it, you're going to realize that Nike, Gucci, Walmart, Hyundai, all of these, Dubai has built out their whole entire metaverse. And then it's going to take somebody else to introduce it to you that, now you want to compete with them. And now, other than you investing and being preventative, now it's going to cost you 10 times more. Just like with our biz in a box, we literally was in a health and wellness industry that if you joined our team, we would build out a whole biz in a box for you. That biz in a box now is, at $1,400 flat out. And, there's still people that we know from earlier in our clubhouse and social media days that, have came back and been like, ooh, I sure wish I would have got it when it was at that 497. Yeah, you should have, but you allowed technical debt, you allowed your emotions, you allow your feelings, you allow your ego and your pride to get in the way and not say, hey, I need to change, I need to update. But a lot of people say, well, David, some people might not have that money. Bullshit. You got money to go on vacation, you got money for this purse, you got money for this, you got money for that. You got money. Do you have the will to invest the money is the better case, right? And so I bring that to your forefront because we had to have that conversation with ourselves. And this is why I share with people, hey, look, when we're talking about these things, I want you to really ask yourself, do you have a business or do you have a hustle? Because those are two different types of being. A business is going to be preventative and be forward thinking on what they're going to do for their business next year. The holidays is coming up. We're going to start talking about the holidays and putting, these promotions in place that you all should be doing, and not wait until Thanksgiving, dinner with gravy and and cranberry sauce on your face, being like, "Ooh, I should do a Black Friday sale." No, you should be starting that in October, right? Promoting it, doing all these things. And so this is really where we engage in these conversations. But me and Tara can talk about, what is AI, what is metaverse, what is it going to do for your business. But that's not going to mean diddly squat if it goes in one ear and it goes out the other, and you continue to run with the stories or these things that people are saying that they don't even much know about AI, and we're taking them for what we think they are, and they don't even much know. And so this is why we encourage you guys to make sure you check out the source before you take people's resources, because a lot of people are out here sharing resources that they're not even using or don't know how to use, and they're telling you bad, good, indifferent. And this is why I shared in my live. Stop listening to people and go press some buttons. Go check out that new Opus, app that I've shared about. Go check out that Gamma app that we've talked about for your presentations. Go check out our Biz in a Box and see how it can help your business out, and really look at, what you're utilizing and implementing in your business. And so this is really where we're going to get into the nitty gritty. But I appreciate Miss Nancy coming up on stage. Linda, Zahar, how you doing? Miss Yama, I do not want to butcher this name. Last name, Miss Lynch, how you doing? And then Don, welcome. You are all welcome to come up on stage. Mikasa, Sukasa, let's talk, let's have a conversation, and really ask questions if you guys have any about this AI, about this metaverse, especially as we showcase, our Hello AI chat bot. Go ahead, Miss Nancy, what you got?
Mr. Jones and Ms. Bush, thank you for this. I'm going to ask you two a question. What do you see AI like in 10 years? Thanks.
Love, you want to go first?
Yeah, sure. I'll just share my 2 cents. So, at the end of the day, I think our world and society is going to look way different than what we see now. And what do I mean by that? I don't know if people realize that nearly 8,000 technology patents have been suppressed over the past 40 years, if not 50. What does that mean? Well, let's break this down a little bit. So if you see things in the movies, like Minority Report and things like that, that was way before we had it at our fingertips, that means it already exists. Our GOVERNMENT, I just don't like to say some words because then it just piques the algorithm to start listening. They own all of this technology. The only reason we have our AI and metaverse technologies because they have authorized us to have access to it. So there's a lot of undertow here of where technology has been suppressed to us. Now, I'm just going to say this. I'm not going to go into it, but we have been in one planetary age for the last 2,000 years, which was not about technology, which was the age of Pisces. We moved into the age of Aquarius. Go look it up. This is all things. By the way, JP Morgan is known for saying that billionaires follow and make investments per planets, and millionaires follow charts. So people out there that are like, oh my gosh, this lady's blah 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 blah, she's going cuckoo for cocoa puffs, or she's on the woo-woo side. It's factual things. These are things that we've all been disconnected from because the more removed we are, the less money, the less financially well off we are, and then we don't have a seat at the table. So how does this all play into where we're going to be in 10 years? We've moved into the age of technology. And so what I'm trying to communicate to you with a little bit of backstory here is that we are going to see from basically 2020 through 2040 a complete shift of what we thought we would never see. I'm not going to go all the way to the saying that we're going to look like George, the Jetsons. How many of you remember the Jetsons? But the funniest thing about that is if you go out to Google or if you go out to any other search engine and ask, What year was George Jetson born in? He was born in 2020. That is his birth year. So we're past 2020. What do I mean by that? It means that a lot of times the cartoons that we used to watch and all that is future casting. It's kind of where we're going. Now, I'm not going to fully say that we're going to be in flying cars and cities that you see are totally futuristic and all that. I would love to see something very cool like that.
We already
but
have flying cars.
we do already have flying cars, 100 and million%. So that's why I say it's not so far out there that we might not get there. But the point being is, the short story is, we're going to see a very technology advanced system. We're already starting to move that way, where they make these moves very slowly, what seems like molasses to us, and make it so easy that the next thing you know, you wake up in 5 years and you're like, wow, we went from having corded phones in the home to completely cellular devices, and nobody has a corded phone. I saw the other day someone from the younger generation, I think they were late teens, early 20s, that said, and this was a TikTok, and the baby boomers and the Generation X came for her. But she was like, why don't we just have one phone in the house to where if it rings, anybody can answer it? And all of the older generation came back and was like, we did. It was called a house phone, a home phone that was corded or cordless at that point. But the point being is that we are making those technology advances so quickly, but yet so slowly that it doesn't seem like, oh my gosh, I can't deal with this. Because most humans as a whole, we don't do change well. It has to be slow and methodical. And for me, Nancy, to answer directly of what will we see, we're going to see a full digitalized financial system. For those that don't know, the financial system is changing behind the scenes as we speak right now. That is why a lot of you have your cards added to your phone, and you can do tap and go with your card or your phone or your Apple Watch or whatever type of watch you have on that is digital. We're in a digital society, and it is moving to where the forward facing, the front facing to the customers, you and I, to the public, is already there. They're now catching the system up behind the scenes because it's so analog that most people don't realize that, it's moving around and changing, right? And so it just comes down the pipeline at the end of the day that we are going to be well, Uber's coming out next year with self-driving cars. We already have self-driving cars, but they're putting more self-driving cars into the thing. So we're going to be, a complete system and society where, you go into a McDonald's or a Burger King right now, not all of them, but they're getting there, where you order off of a menu, a touch screen, and there's a little bit of staff in the background, but most of it is computerized. You go to Vegas, you have bartenders that are a robotic arm. You go on a vacation and you stop at a resort, and you have you have an arm making, when you used to pull up to the omelet station to have your omelet made. Well, now you have a robotic arm and you punch in what you want in your omelet and it makes your omelet. That is all robotics, AI, Web3 technology. So we are going to be a very digitalized system. I mean, heck, right now, guys, look at our homes. I mean, how many of you have a thermostat that you can control from your phone? How many of you have cameras on your house that you can see from an app on your phone wherever you are? We're already there. That's why I'm saying it's very slow and methodic, but because we've changed ages and we're now in the age of Aquarius, the technology is going to move faster. That's why we saw AI pop out in 2022. And now it seems like, man, it's almost 2 years that it's been here. And wow, it seems like it's been here for a lot longer than that. So I hope that answers your question, Miss Nancy. From my point of view, I'm going to hand it over to Mr. Jones and let him answer it. So, love, what you got?
Yeah, I think you answered it great. And what I like to be able to do is just back us up before we can ask what something can do in the future, I think we need to understand the basics of what it is now. That AI is, artificial intelligence. It's a new way that we adapt. It's a new way that we adjust to really being able to engage with each other and more so ourselves. I want you guys to all think of AI being a super smart computer that can think. It can grow just like you can grow as far as in the mind, right? And really be able to understand that AI, is, a musician. AI is a detective. AI is a teacher. AI, is a chef. It's a painter. It's a scientist. It's a counselor. It's a personal assistant, and really understanding that AI and metaverse go hand in hand, especially as we do look into the future and understanding just the facts alone of what AI is going to be able to provide, to the economy now. That AI could automate up to 45% of our current activities by 2026. Okay, that's huge, guys, for us to be able to understand how, I'm sorry, by 2035 and 16 different industries. 45% of your job is going to be obsolete. We remind you guys that, this AI, this metaverse, this robotics, you cannot be that naive and remember that there used to be a whole 2030 slew of cash registers. Right now, you go to the store, which you don't go to the store anymore because you shop online. So let's just use that common, that perspective there alone. A lot of you are ordering your stuff online. You're not going to the store. You're not doing the parking lot. You're not cussing people out, in line, talking about people because they cut you or did this or did that, or ooh, look what she's wearing, or ooh, look what he's wearing, where it's a Jerry Springer show, especially if you go to Walmart. And so, this is really where we're looking at a difference of how we interact with each other and understand how this, really helps us. And also understanding that, the AI is going to contribute, $15.7 trillion to the economy by 2030. Once again, we're 5 years off of that, guys. We're about to be in 2025. It's 2024. It's 3 days away from the ninth. You got 4 more months before, we're singing and popping fireworks again. And so buckle up. This year is flying by. When we talk about, the healthcare industry as one of the industries, 150 billion annual dollars will be saved by 2026. So those of us that are getting a little bit older, right, and having to make a little bit more appointments, you better be thankful for AI, because now it's not going to be to where you go to your doctor and your doctor's relying on outdated information that they didn't pay attention to in class. They did pay attention to 12-hour shift. They got the kids, they got the wife, they got those bills to pay for. That's really, taking, having a huge responsibility on your health. Now with AI, you get all the analytics, you get all the information, you get the up to most date information. And now your doctor is able to use this AI technology for your use and your benefit. So as much as people are talking shit about AI and not believing in it, go to the doctors and go see what they're doing with metaverse and with AI. Literally, doctors are doing surgeries utilizing these Oculus, headsets and these Apple Vision Pros, where you can get the best doctor in the world to be wherever they are and do surgery on you, to where we're not going to need, a lot of these employees. We shared with you guys the other day that 97 million jobs will be displaced by 2025, but another 85 million jobs will be displaced by 2025, and 97 million jobs will be created. So yes, there's going to be a whole bunch of jobs that are lost, but we're also going to gain a whole bunch of jobs as well by implementing this new technology, which is why we share with you guys, we're making a huge shift. And this is the greatest time to be alive by being able to see this shift and be a part of this shift. And now it's up to you whether or not you're going to be the Blockbuster or you're going to be the Netflix. And even Netflix almost, went bye-bye because they had to implement AI into their business to read what you do and see what you like. And so that's where I'll share with on the AI. And then not only that, when Tara mentioned the movies, especially the Jetsons, we already got flying cars. You can go buy a flying car right now for $275,000. George Jetson had the watch that could talk to people. That's our iWatch right now. They had the Zoom, that the crusty dusty Zoom right now, that we're really transitioning and talking about different conversations. And so follow the movies, and they're already telling us where to go. If you guys want to really understand in a fun, creative way of where we're going and how this metaverse is going to be utilized, go watch the movie Ready Player One. This movie came out in 2017, 2018. Here we are. We're almost 10 years away from that date. They've been telling us where we're going. Minority Report, right? Demolition Man. All of these sci-fi movies have literally been giving us a telltale sign. As Tara shared, a lot of this technology we already have access to. They just don't want us to have access to, because guess what? Power will never relinquish power. And this AI allows us all to be on the same playing field, utilize everything that these big companies are using. The question is, will you? And this is why we share with people. It's amazing that people want different, but they don't want to do different, right? You want, but you don't want to, right? And there's a difference between those two. And especially when we talk about metaverse, metaverse is nothing more than a digital universe. It's, right now, a lot of people don't understand what the metaverse is, and I'm gonna help you guys out. We're all hearing about this Web 3, Web 2. Right now, we are currently in this Web 2, this, this static phone right now that we can send messages, we can do videos, and we can do the social audio. Now, just imagine, as those of you that are in our Hello Plaza, taking it to a completely different new level, to where now you can actually be in this digital universe that exists parallel, where we can create any type of immersive environment in the metaverse that literally allows us to connect. It allows us to collaborate. It allows us to be able to create. And I share with people that this metaverse is the replacement to our social media. This metaverse is a replacement to our e-commerce. Instead of you going to that boring ass, Amazon, and picking out your size and hoping it fit, you're literally going to be able to come into metaverse, and you have your avatar that already has your specific measurements and knows exactly what size you are. All of these things, it's going to be able to utilize AI on past purchases. You're going to be able to put, all the things that you like in this metaverse world, especially when you come into these new immersive environments. That whole entire store will change exactly to what you like. Imagine you walking into, Macy's or Dillard's or any, store that you go to, and everything in the store completely changes to your liking. And that's where we're going. When we talk about educational systems, our kids are no longer going to have to go, to school, and the moms and dads aren't going to have to be worried about their kids, safety. They're literally going to be able to join in from their VR headsets or their laptop or their cell phone that they're already connected to and learning from already, and have school. That's a huge thing. And then being able to have, entertainment. Disney already came out and said, hey, we're taking some of our movies into the metaverse, where no more movie theaters. You want to see what's gone in 10 years? Movie theaters are gone. They are obsolete. Okay. As we look into this immersive environment, to where, right now we have movie nights in here where people come in here and watch movies with us, guys. You can see our entire stadium where you can come in here and sit and watch and be a part of this 3D immersive environment that definitely takes you to a whole new level as we are implementing AI and metaverse. And so hopefully that answers your question, Miss Nancy. I know me and Tara both went long, but great question, because we got to know where we are now before we can go to forward. And most people don't know where we're going until it's too late, and then be like, oh my goodness, I didn't know that. What do you mean you didn't know that? You haven't been paying attention is the better question. Or we've been allowing our pride and our ego and our unwillingness to learn these new things because we sell ourselves. Oh, I'm not good at technology. That's for the youngsters. I'm here to let you all know right now, AI does not have an age limit on it. You're either going to be utilizing it and you're going to enjoy that progression, or you're going to be forced to, just like people were forced to learn Zoom, you were forced to learn these phones, and it wasn't pretty. You got aggravated. Some of you might have broke some computers, broke some phones, but just imagine if you had went to algebra class and paid attention week 1, how much better you would have been off week 8. But because you didn't pay attention and you didn't do your homework and you skipped out and you didn't do the things you should have been doing, now it's, oh my God, it's double the time. And this is where we share with you guys, do not allow this technical debt to catch up to you as it did with Hobby Lobby and Blockbuster, where enough is enough and you just can't keep up. And that's exactly what we do at the Hello LLC. And so that's what I'll share. Love, you got anything else? Or Nancy, you want to add on or ask another question? Let's go.
Well, I was going to see if Miss Nancy wanted to jump in there and see if that answered her question, or maybe if Miss Nancy wants to share about what she thinks where we're going to be at technology-wise in the next 10 years. Because again, it's an open conversation. It's not just us here to share. Nancy, you want to jump in on that? She might be in listening mode. That's okay. We don't mind. But yeah, totally love it. I agree at the end of the day in the sense of just, where we're going. I think the biggest thing for us is to just, again, keep an open mind. There's pros and cons to anything in life. There's always going to be pros and cons, but there's things to weigh, and you find out if this is a good, or, if you can live with it or if you can't live with that. And sometimes you can't, and that's understandable. The biggest thing that I think people have to understand is that when we get in our own way, and shun something, it really is, or let me say it this way: when we don't have an open mind and we don't want to be willing to explore, exploration doesn't mean you're committing to anything. You're just checking things out. You're like, it's kind of like walking up to the ocean and you taking your shoe off and kind of putting your foot down, letting the wave hit, and you're like, is it cool? Is it cold? Is it warm? What's this look like? It's kind of like, do I want to, or it's tasting something new. You kind of take a little baby bite because you're like, ooh, what does this taste like? I don't know. And I don't know if I'm willing to take a big old bite of something and, and then be like, oh no, I didn't want this. I will never forget growing up in my childhood. Our rule in the house was you had to try everything at least once. And oh boy, I remember the night that we were going to have liver and onions. My dad loved liver and onions, and I had to try it. And I will tell you, it was not my most favorite thing. Now, there's a couple. I wasn't really a picky eater growing up because our parents didn't really allow us to be. But liver and onions was one thing that I just kind of was like, do I ever have to eat that again after? And I ate, most of my plate. I put a lot of ketchup on that liver that day, and it just did not help. But I will tell you, that's something that I was not so wanting to have an open mind to it when I showed up. And after I tried it, I was like, oh no, negative, definitely not. But that's kind of how life is, right, guys? We go into things, and we might be skeptical. And then we get it and we try it, and it could be fabulous. It could be, new favorite thing. Or it could be like Tara eating liver for the first time. And no, it was not my favorite thing. It's so funny. As a funny joke, again, for those that missed it at the beginning of the room, I'm up in Idaho right now visiting my family. David's actually down in Mexico where we stay. And the funniest part about it was, if my mom and I go to grab something to eat, or if my brother and I go grab something to eat, they'll ask, well, what do you want? And I go, anything, as long as it's not liver and onions. I'll eat the onions. Oh, I love onions, but I'll pass on the other part. And they always just kind of chuckle because it all takes us back to that day that I had to try it. And I was just, I remember sitting at the table. It's kind of like that hot lawnmower that I put my hand on. So again, it's kind of just understanding what the pros and cons are of technology and where we're going. And if you're willing to make that adjustment or jump in. I was sharing this last week. I had I was over visiting with my brother over at his shop, which is on the same property of my mom. So, I was just over on the other side of the property. And one of the gentlemen that we grew up with, that my brother and I grew up with, was over there. He stopped by, and he's in his 70s. So he's what they consider a baby boomer. And we got on to my brother was sharing with him, kind of about what my business, David and I's business is, and for those that don't know, we're a Web3 agency. We help businesses essentially get their foundation of their processes, their systems, their automation in place. You can't go from 1 to 3. You got to go from Web 1 to Web 2 to Web 3. So we really get people into Web 2 before we can pivot them and help them get into Web 3. And so my brother was sharing that with him in layman terms, and it was really interesting. I'm not, it doesn't make him right or wrong, but it was really interesting to listen to a point of view of someone who has not really ever owned a computer, worked with computers, or is really technology advanced or proficient. Now, again, there's nothing wrong with that. We're just all different in what we do and how we live. But I don't ever make anybody wrong because, my opinion or my viewpoint or how I live my life might be wrong to somebody else. So nobody wants to feel that way. And so I like to just listen. Of course, I was on the complete opposite because David and I just need internet to run our business, and we're good to go. And it's a beautiful thing. I mean, that's why we've been able to sell our house, sell all of our cars, sell all of our belongings, and be homeless by choice, be carless by choice. It's one of the most liberating things we have done, to not have to, run the gauntlet to make sure that we're keeping up with the Joneses. No pun intended, Mr. Jones. But, just listening to this young man, I say young man, he's again in his 70s, share, it really just kind of made me aware that there's still a population in our society that is not as technology savvy. And that as we progress as a technology forward society, there are going to be people that it gaps and it leaves behind. And, that's just, it's kind of like when people started getting VCRs and DVD players, and your older parents and your grandparents were like, how do you use this thing? And so, I don't ever like anybody to be left behind, but it definitely is a gap there. But the good thing is that's their choice. And so we all have free choice as humans, and we get to do that. And so that is their choice. And so it's cool. But I tell you, I do not know how people don't live with technology in these days, without Metaverse, without AI, without a computer, without a smartphone. And that's only because my life is so digital now that it's a great use to me and to David, and it really helps us, save time, work smarter, not harder. So yeah, that's what I would add to it, Mr. Jones. Back to you.
Yeah, love, you said the magic word of time. Our only competition is time. So many people want to compete, and we continue to remind people that collaboration is the new currency. I heard this lady utilize my term the other day. She didn't give me my kudos for it, but I love it that people are starting to pick up on it and understand that it is about us all being together. That's no more you do you, I'ma do me, and let's see who gets to the top. That's never worked, number one. It never has. Look at all the animals. Bees work together. Lions work together. Elephants work together. Ants work together. But us, as the baddest machines on planet Earth, we think that we can do it by ourselves when we have so many other examples of how nature works all as one. And that's really where we're at. And, something that you shared that's huge as we implement this technology, and you talk about foundation, I want to let you guys know this all right now. We might be talking about AI. We might be called, the metaverse, king and queen, but I'm here to tell you right now, let's start at square one. What Tara and I do, we help build businesses, systems, and foundations, number one. And I'm going to give you an example, especially those of you that are watching us, or those of you that are in our Clubhouse room or LinkedIn room, go click on my face, Tara's face, and hit that big button that says learn more and visit Metaverse. That is our biz in a box. It is more than a website. If you are an author, if you're a coach, if you are a business entrepreneur, a forward thinking business entrepreneur, then I highly encourage you to press that button and to see how that is compared to your current, setup now, where a lot of people right now are currently, only utilizing their link tree. They're utilizing, a website. They're utilizing a calendar, for people to learn more information. And I'm here to tell you that's outdated and obsolete. That used to work, that got you here, but it won't get you there because, as I shared earlier, you got 7 seconds to get people's attention or they are out. And the other day on Facebook, I put, business cards is kind of like using, a pager and dial up internet. Please, my friends, stop using business cards. Let me give you an example. You give that person a business card, it's going to go in their wallet, their cup holder, their purse, and it ain't going in their phone. You got a whole bunch of cards right now that you ain't even much put in your phone. And somebody's laughing right now because they got a whole stack of them somewhere and they know exactly where they're at. And so this is where we update your business and help you with time and help you really monetize your business in a fashionable way. Because right now, with our business box, we create this QR code that now you say, hey, this is my screensaver on my phone. Hit that QR code. Boom. They go to it. You now get to be able to show them, hey, are you on LinkedIn? You on Spaces? You on Instagram? You on Threads? You on Facebook? You on YouTube? What you on? They're going to probably say, oh, I'm on LinkedIn. You literally can hit that button on the biz in the box and it goes to that person's actual, platform. The other day I was out and about and a guy was asking me about our business and this, that, and the other. And me and Tar really haven't been out that much, but it was great that I got to, be a part of this experiment that I continue to share with you guys. And he knew how to do the QR code. He pulled out his phone. He took the camera, hit the button. He was like, oh my God, what is this? I said, well, this is what my company does. This is what we do, where, we create this AI avatar where you literally can take your business to a whole new level and implement your YouTube channel, right? To where people want something visual. So people can literally see our Hello AI motion works to where Tara's her avatar,
Next level.
my avatar, and this makes it a completely different experience that people get access to. Not a whole bunch of writing that you see, right? A brief little description of what we do, especially those of you that want to start a podcast or have a podcast or a book, right? You should be giving away a chapter of your book. You should be giving away an actual guide because what does this do? Hey, go to my biz in a box and get my free guide. Go to my biz in a box and get my free, first chapter of my book. Because what does that do? If I will you, this now allows you to be able to get that person's information even without you. And especially if you guys do not know about our Getting Naked podcast, it is unfiltered, uncensored, and unstoppable. At the end of the day, it's real, raw, and funny as AF. I encourage you guys to go and listen to that podcast. And some of you have podcasts right now. And guess what you're doing? You're sending people your Spotify link, hoping they download that Spotify link, which they ain't. And then they're not listening to your podcast. On our Biz in a Box, you get to literally listen to our last podcast right here without downloading anything. And so, this is where we were talking about, giving away something free. This helps you out with your email campaign. You guys can definitely go take advantage of our 5 different guides that we have. One being 20 ways to monetize in Metaverse, literally, right? And this is where this AI and Metaverse comes into place because on our Biz in a Box, you now can click one of these buttons to go to our Hello Plaza, our Getting Naked podcast room. You can go shop in our Hello Plaza mall, or you can go to our live events. And this is where, a lot of you are doing social audio rooms and you're only sticking to one platform. You need to expand. You need to have omnipresence on all of these platforms because hopefully you know your target audience, but your target audience might prefer LinkedIn over Facebook or Instagram over Facebook or vice versa. You need to be omnipresent in all of those and not just stick to what you like. And especially for those people that do, join us, we have an amazing AI tool that we share with people that literally allows you to post on your Instagram, your Facebook, both those storylines, your YouTube, your Pinterest, your Google SEO, that as you as a business owner, you all should have a Google SEO where your clients and customers can leave reviews. All your social media goes to your Google SEO as it does with us. This builds up your presence on Google, which so many people are unaware of. And so that's an amazing tool that we implement. And then why not have gift cards for your business? Hello. They might not need it from you, but they might know somebody else. So that's a huge tip that a lot of you should be implementing into your business. And this is where we can lay out all of our business that we do, from our pivot membership, our biz in a box, our metaverse services, our AI motion works, right? We even do business with enterprises as well. And then, a calendar, being able to book an appointment with somebody right there without talking to them. I literally got an appointment, tomorrow. I've never talked to this person whatsoever, but I'm more than certain they've seen us on social media, right? This guy actually followed me on LinkedIn. He followed me on YouTube. He followed me on TikTok. Never talked to the guy. So that's a prime example of how beneficial your social media and your presence is. We also have our own apparel line. If you are an author, if you are a coach, why are you wearing Nike when you should have your own apparel that people can go and purchase, especially if you have your own podcast? And so this is literally where we're able to build people's foundations and able to help them, really set themselves apart and, give people the information, because what we find is a lot of people as entrepreneurs, they think that they have to be it all. They think they have to talk to every single client. They think they have to present them with all of this, that, and the other. Ain't nobody got time for that, as that lady would tell you, right? People want that information right there and then, just like somebody listening to me now. You know what? I got this crusty, dusty ass link tree. My website is out of order. Let me go in here and book me an appointment and talk to David and Tara and see how they can build my business. Ta-da! And so this is how fast and how lucrative you need to have it for your clients to get this information to where they can book, your coaching call, to where they can learn about your different books or your series. And this is where, we really take that pivotal moment to being able to implement you into the metaverse, to where now when people hit this big old button, right, that says go to Hello Plaza, it literally will take them straight into our Hello Plaza, right? So now they can engage and be, in our 3D immersive environment from their actual phone. And a lot of people aren't getting that concept that while we are at that event, or while I was out and about talking to, this gentleman, another person could have been standing right next to me and they would have had a crusty, dusty business card, and that person wouldn't want to talk to them. Thanks for the card. Appreciate it. Go in my pocket. Hey, man, you said you can go into the metaverse from your phone? Yeah, click that button. Boop. I'm right now having a conversation with that person up front and center, not saying, oh, let's book an appointment, let's talk later. No, they want to learn now, because I've taken it from a traditional, boring, conversation to really I'm engaging with this client in a completely different way. And I'm able to gamify the business at best by showcasing this in a completely different way that makes this fun, that makes this engaging, to where now, hey, look, man, you can come in here and come camp out our campfire. You can come in here and drive our golf carts, right? You can come in here and go to our different worlds. We can do anything and everything right here. And so this, my friends, is where we share with people, let's start with your foundation, and then let's be able to make these, small transitions into getting you into Web3 while monetizing your time more effectively. And that's one of the biggest things, which is why we share with people, time is our only competition. We want to give you more time so you can be with the family, you can be with the friends, you can go work out, you can meditate more, You can do all the things that you want to do, and you're not really the janitor in your business, and you're being the president in your business. And so that's a difference, point blank, right? Especially being able to implement all of these tools that we talk about and that we freely share, especially some of the ones that are huge in our rooms, and just people don't take advantage of it. And so that's why we start out with press the button. Most people won't press the button and have that conversation. And the same things that people were praying for and wishing for are the same things that show right up in front of us. And we don't say yes to those things, but yet we say no to those things when we should be saying no to the things that we say yes to a lot more. That creates these patterns, that creates these programs, and really setting us up for failure because of our unwillingness to pivot and move forward. And so that's why we really, have these rooms for you all to look inside yourself and ask yourself, hey, what you doing? You got the dude just told you you got 4 months, until 2024. Have you changed anything in your business? No, yes, maybe so. Or we looking, and this is the biggest thing, and it's going to sting people that hear this now and people that hear it later. But we keep it real around here. What we find a lot of the times is more people want more sympathy than they actually want success. Well, I can't do this. I can't do that. I don't have this. Well, all of those problems are evaporated with AI. As you guys should come and join us on Thursday with Miss Kimberly Martin. She just got her biz in a box, and we're showcasing that Thursday at 8:30 Eastern Standard Time, same channels, where she's going to tell you. She said it the other day. David and Tara eliminated the excuses that I was giving myself of why my business wasn't successful as it was, and they did all of that in one whop. And that's really where we share with people that, hey, look, you don't need to be going here, there, having this tool, having that tool. Let's put it all in our one app, one tap, and let's get you rocking and rolling, because time is definitely not on your side, especially if you're not willing to keep up. And I know that, baby, in a couple of years, even now, people that have seen our business in a box and they haven't moved forward with it, they're like, damn, I sure wish I would have, got that. And, and we don't want people to regret. We want people to reflect and learn from those lessons and move forward from those lessons. And so that's what I'd have to share. What you got, love?
Well, that comes back down to that conversation of, being open-minded. The four most expensive things you can own, the closed mind, closed mouth, closed heart, closed hand. And that's just life. We tend to get into our way of what works, whether it's efficient or not. That's to who each their own. But we get in a way of being, and sometimes we stand in our own way. And I remember my father. My father has not been with us for the last 15 years. Next month coming up, and I remember my father. So this was good 20 years ago, maybe 25. He would call. He ran his own business. He would call. If not my mom, because she worked full time, he would call me, and I lived in Houston, Texas at the time, and he'd be like, "Sis, I need help to create an invoice. I got to take this invoice into a client." And I was like, oh no, because trying to help my father from afar. And QuickBooks at that time was like, I don't even know QuickBooks, Dad, like that. I know, the general consensus, but I didn't at that time, did not know QuickBooks, in and out, so where I could guide somebody over the phone through it. And again, we were in a time where we weren't as digital. We didn't have the ability to remote access into a computer and see all that. And so the point of why I share that is because, I laugh. If my dad can get in and be technology savvy and to an extent, anybody can. It's just the willingness of, are we willing to learn? But this goes back to that conversation I was saying earlier, is most of the time we are all stuck in our survival mode of just, going to work, getting the bills paid, getting Johnny to baseball practice and Susie to cheerleading, and we're just busy, 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 and we don't stop and we don't even stop and enjoy the wind blowing through the trees, let alone think, how can we work smarter? And it's not ingrained in all of us, because a lot of times, again, we're in the go, 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 go mode, that we get lost and don't stop and say, oh, this is pretty silly. Why am I handwriting a check every time I need to do this, when I could just go over here and put this on auto pay, or I could have the bill paid, from the bank do it. It's being able to automate parts of your life. And so, when David shares, when he gets into these rooms and he listens to other people share about AI, doesn't make them wrong or right, doesn't make us wrong or right. But David is very, he always says this: make sure you're checking the source before you take the resource. And what that means is, just be mindful of, even with us, be mindful of the information you hear. Go get multiple sources, multiple, parts of the information, so you can make an educated choice that best serves you. Everybody's different. What our life is different to everybody else's, and yours is different to everybody else's. And it would be a really boring world if we all had the same life. We would be that movie called Free Guy. If you haven't watched it, I encourage everybody to go. If you're a movie person, go watch Free Guy, FREE Guy, GUY. It is out. I think it's like maybe a year or two old, and it's with Ryan Reynolds in it, and it's about future, and it's kind of about people that are waking up. They don't know that they're avatars, but they're waking up and doing this, wearing the same clothes, doing the same tasks every day, going about their life in a very mundane kind of way. That all of a sudden he wakes up and he's like, oh wait, I have choice. Like, I could have a free choice of doing this instead of doing that. And we all kind of get conditioned into that. And again, I come back around to, we are going to move into a full digital society. We're already there. They just do it so slowly that it doesn't shock people. Doesn't make people just like run for the hills because they're like, oh no, I can't do this. No, it's done very slowly, very methodically. And so people don't realize, it's kind of like, I don't know if anybody knows that, when you like, and I've never cooked a frog before, but you put it in, you start the pan in a cold pan, and then you cook it. And there's other like lobsters and other creatures, I guess, that if you put it in a pan of cold water, or they don't even notice it, and then when the water gets hot and it cooks them and they're no longer with us, no longer alive, they didn't notice because it happens slowly over time. And we're very similar when it comes to technology.
Let me put your ass in a boiling pot of water and see if you don't notice.
Well, if it's boiling, I will notice. But if you put me in a very small pot where it's cold and it turns hot over time, I probably will notice too. But there's some critters in this world that don't. And, as David cracks jokes, but the point being is that's kind of what technology does to us. We're all kind of that, lobster in the pot that you start, or the frog in the pot that you start at cold, and you get hot. They don't realize that they're cooked. They're done. And that's us with technology. Technology just gets, you go to the airport, and all of a sudden now you don't really get a paper ticket. It's just on your phone. I was, one of my brother's employees the other day was talking about technology, because I'm again helping my brother digitalize his business, and this gentleman is definitely a baby boomer, and he says, it reminds me of when I called the insurance company a couple of months ago and said, where's my insurance card? I haven't got it. It's not in the mail. Have you did you not send it? And the customer service agent was like, well, sir, we don't mail out our insurance cards anymore. It's on your phone. He's like, what do you mean it's on my phone? And he's like, yeah, it's either in your email. We send it to you electronically through your email, and or you can go out to our app and log into your account, and there's a digital form there. And he's like, what do you mean? He's like, I want a physical card. And they're like, sorry, we don't issue physical cards anymore. And that's what I mean, is that one day a company will just say, no more, we're not doing that anymore. And all of a sudden you are left there holding the bag of goods going, okay. And that's where kind of back into what Miss Nancy asked us earlier about where do we see technology in 10 years. Again, I don't know if we're going to see a full, flying car city and everything looks super futuristic, kind of be cool, I guess, in my eyes. But, again, I'm different from everybody else. And, we all don't have to agree on that. But point being is we're already a digital society. And it's going to be where, maybe your face scan, the face scan that you use to open up your phone or to, authorize payments when you tap your card, maybe that's tied to everything else. And you can say, oh, I want to pay my light bill. And oh, I want to, send off my insurance premium or whatever it is, that you're doing. So it just comes down the pipeline that we're here, and AI and Metaverse is the next step. What comes after 2 is 3. And sometimes that's real, and for the short term of things, it's not a bad thing, but again, us humans don't do change well. So back to you, Mr. Jones. You're on mute on this end, love. And maybe I lost him. Maybe he's, fell off the face of the planet and technology came and got him. And so anyways, I'll continue. But with that said, I just want to welcome everybody in. It's great to have you today. We're talking about AI chatbots and Metaverse. Are they job stealers or game changers? We've had this conversation in the past. I know 7 years ago, David and I were sharing when we first started our business to say, AI will take over the job market. And that is pretty threatening. Those words, let me say that, those words of how I said it are pretty threatening because, people are like, well, I don't want to lose my job, and nobody does. And we don't want you to either. But what's going to happen is there's going to be a lot of repeated mundane tasks that get, kind of replaced by an automated system or process. For instance, I remember 5 or 6 years ago, David and I were in Vegas walking through one of the casinos, and we walked up to the bar to order a beer or a drink or whatever it was, and there was a robotic arm there that you punched in. You ordered what you want, you paid with your card on like an iPad, and then it made what you want. Got you a beer or it made you a mixed drink. I also have seen, I don't know if anybody else has seen this, but on Shark Tank, which they actually, one of the sharks went ahead and moved forward with it. Which means it'll come out as kind of a major, it'll be out to the open public, it'll come out to the, the masses is what I'm trying to say. But it was okay, let me back up and stop fumbling over my words here. Think of in your kitchen, it was a refrigerator and it also was a stove oven robot that would be able to prep your food. So essentially, you would buy your food, you would wash it if it's produce, if it's meat, do whatever you do, wash your meat, whatever it is. You would put it in the bins that were allocated for that. The robot would then, at that point, the machine in its whole, it was kind of, think of like a cabinet, like, where your refrigerator stands now, and you might have the microwave next to it or the stove, kind of around that. It would replace your stove, microwave, and refrigeration system. And it would then, when you can walk up to the little computer screen and say, I want, chicken and shrimp fettuccine Alfredo. I can't even get my words out today, guys. And I want it tonight to be ready at 6 p.m. And you could be doing this at, 7 a.m. in the morning before you go to work. And so you've already got it programmed. And when you got home, it was ready for you to take out of the little heat box where it's already got it all mixed up, prepared. All you have to do is either eat it out of the dish that it's prepared in or serve it up on the plates. And so that's the digitalization that we're going to. And that is, where people kind of that's scary for some people. Some people are totally open for it. Some people are like, no, I want to cook my own. I don't know how you cook and season and all that, and that's okay. The kinks will get worked out in time. But this is where we're going, and those are just examples of like these AI bots. Not even just chat bots, and this is where we are moving into robotics next. We're now going to see a large push of robotics come down the pipeline because that's the next phase. And a lot of people, when they hear robotics, they think of iRobot. I mean, how many of you have ever watched that movie and you're like, you think of Will Smith and all these iRobots that have you on lockdown, and kind of policing, people, and not in a fair or just manner. Again, these are self-learning technology tools, but they had to be trained somewhere. And Mr. Jones and I, obviously, we're an interracial couple. We've talked about this, openly in our relationship, and in private and in public forums like this, where if it is trained by a human, are those biases and discretions and maybe judging a book by a cover, are those a part of the biases that we teach? I hope not, because we all deserve to have an equal opportunity for everything. But those are things we think about. Is it going to target male versus female? I mean, are those going to be things we even deal with? And so the future's unknown, and we also have to participate in it. This is a big part of it, guys. We need to participate and be a part of the evolution of this, because if we sit back and say, no, I don't want to participate, that's your choice, and that is okay. There's, again, my word or my phrase of today is there's nothing wrong with that. However, if we don't pull up a table and demand for an equal playing field, and demand that things are done right, as they haven't been done in that way in history, then we are going to kind of repeat history, and that's definitely not something I want to do. And I know Mr. Jones and I've had that, and he doesn't want to, and there's a lot of people that don't want to. And so we got to participate in the molding and the modeling and the building and the creation of this. And you might be like, well, I don't know anything about robotics, AI, metaverse, Web3 things, and I don't know how I would participate. Well, your consumerism is a participation. If you're buying things, if you're participating with, owning an iPhone or owning a Mac computer or owning a Windows computer, or Rocketbook has a huge say in it. If you're buying things, or if you're not buying things, say you don't like something because it does have a bias to it, and maybe it's a robotic feature or robotic technology, and you're like, nope, there's a feature that I don't like about it. Then you have the power of consumerism. And the more people that do or don't buy something or participate in something, then that product either goes to market or it doesn't go to market. And so it's that age-old saying that everybody says, go vote, your vote matters. And you think, well, how does it matter in an electoral system? But that's kind of what I'm saying, is that our ability to have, purchasing power, or being able to sit at the table because you have creation power, or you have, oh gosh, I just went blank of it, but morals is essentially, but moral power, where the morals of how everybody should be treated equally, or whatever those powers are that you have as a human. We're all different. If we were all the same, it would be a really boring world. So, Mr. Jones, are you back?
Yeah. We want to welcome everybody over here at Chatter as well. Guys, if you guys don't know about Chatter, definitely let us know. We'll send you an invite. It is like LinkedIn, Clubhouse, the old crusty dusty Zoom had a baby together, to where, we can share our screen. This is also to where you're going to be able to stream on different platforms. So just imagine on LinkedIn, you're able to stream your room on Instagram, on TikTok, not TikTok, on on Spaces and Facebook. So literally, your room will be live everywhere else to entice people to come. So it's a nice little transition, especially for us to be able to get you guys to press 4 buttons and for you to come visit us in our Hello Plaza. And I'll even put this out there: anybody that comes and join us in the next 15 minutes into our Hello Plaza, me and Tara will give you a free month access to our Pivot membership. And if you do not know about our Pivot membership, let me just share with you this. Our $7 a month membership gives you access to well over 100 videos of what buttons to press, why you should press them, and even some guidance on why you should be able to implement these things into your business, where it's a great way for us to be able to show you, teach you, and even we have some upper echelon levels that you can join in our Pivot membership where we do it for you. And especially for those that do go with us on our Biz in a Box, this is a great membership, a continuation of your Biz in a Box, to not just let your website or your link tree or whatever you're utilizing, to showcase your business, be obsolete in the next 6-7 months because you don't know how to do it. And that's something that we share with people. You're great at the training, but you're not great at the transaction. And that's what happens with a lot of entrepreneurs. A doctor is not the best at, the paperwork and all the rest of that stuff, and vice versa. And so this is where we come together and we're able to build in our community and showcase, how each one of these work for each other and monetize your business. And so definitely make sure that you guys check out our Pivot membership. And once again, you hit my face, Tara's face, takes you to our profile. Those of you on LinkedIn, you'll go to our Biz in a Box, scroll down, you'll see that big old blue button that says Hello Plaza. Those of you that are joining us live, and watching this also on LinkedIn, you can see the emblem right there that says Hello Plaza. That's the button you hit in our Biz in a Box. You see our QR code as well. You can take a picture of, and that'll lead you right there. And so this is where we digitize really your business and your brand to allow you all to really do some things that you would not have been able to do in the past, right? And so, over here on Chatter Love, give me an A-OK or thumbs up. I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to jump into, our metaverse world. And so hopefully you can see my screen over there with your internet. But this app is absolutely amazing as we're able to showcase this and share this with you all. But love, what are some things that, or should I say, I want you all to understand that AI is nothing more than Google, on steroids. Right now, a lot of us are going to Google and pressing in that Google bar, and it just gives us a filtration of different ads and different things that we got to read. But utilizing, Chat GPT, I would definitely encourage you guys to go utilize, the actual the Gemini that's connected to Google, because you don't have to pay for the updated version as you do with Chat GPT. It takes it to a whole new level to where you can ask it questions. It will spit it back out. I mean, literally, guys, a lot of these rooms, when you guys ask questions, just like when Ms. Nancy asked questions, I went in there and I asked it, hey, what does AI look like in the next 10 years? Give me some examples of, business and instruments that, AI will be able to help. And boom, you don't need to be the smartest person in the room anymore. Right? They're talking about, connecting us to the internet. Well, I'm here to tell you already, my friend, you can be connected, and we already have been connected, because a lot of the times when we don't know this information, that's exactly where we go, is Google. But now it's just easier, faster, and more reliable. And with all the information, combined together, where we can take the guesswork out, and we don't have to, go to this article or go to that article and copy and paste here and copy and paste there and put this all together. Especially, it blows my mind when people be like, well, I'm not too sure about AI because, it really allows people to plagiarize and to do these things. Well, I'm going to just call a spade a spade. My ass in college Googled and went to this article, that article, this article, that article, and pieced their asses together, put my notes down there where I got the information, and there we go. And now we have this tool that allows us to do it for us. And so many of us are stuck in the past and not understanding how easy this is. And love, can you see my screen on the chatter and still hear me?
Yes, love. All good.
Perfect, perfect, perfect. Good. And so, you're seeing, how this all works as well. And so, those of you that want an invite to chatter, definitely let us know. We'll get you an invite. So not only could we be talking, but you guys could be seeing me, in the Hello Plaza right now, walking around in my avatar, which just blows my mind. Especially for my ladies, you hate being on camera. Like we meet with so many ladies, and they're like, well, my hair ain't together, my makeup ain't together, excuse me for not having my actual camera on. And I'm like, this is exactly why the metaverse works out perfectly, because you ain't got to worry about none of that stuff. I'm suited and booted in my suit right now, and I'm literally sitting here in sweatpants and sandals, not looking nowhere near as good as my avatar, but you're still able to hear me. You're still able to get my dialect. And when people say, oh, well, I don't know if it's going to take us away from reality while they're in a social audio room, I'm like, do you hear yourself? Because when we go to this room, that room, this room, that room, and the other, there's different experiences. There's different environments that we create based upon the conversation that we have, in these different rooms and social audio rooms. And so this is where we need to take a step back and also go experiment it for yourself and go check it out for yourself, other than listening to somebody from Go Brunch, tell you that this is the new metaverse. And I'm here to tell you it is absolutely not. Okay. And that's why I say be careful of who you listen to and check their sources, because Go Brunch is not metaverse. Go Brunch is nothing more than a green screen with a circle and your face showing up on Zoom. Okay, that's it. And it allows you to keep the room open 24/7. No, there's no AI avatars that are created or anything of that sort. And so this is where we continue to share with you guys. Stop trying. There's no such thing as a halfway crook. And this is what you're going to see. You're going to see a lot of these implementations that are going to try to act as if they're in this immersive environment when they're not in this immersive environment, and they're trying to showcase that they are and they're not. There's been so many times I've met with people and they've showed me alternatives of them calling what metaverse is. And I'm like, no, this is not metaverse at all. Stop it. And, this is why we show you guys what this looks like instead of just talking about it. And hopefully we can get you guys to come in here and experience, what the metaverse looks like. And so once again, guys, if you want to come in here and join us in our Hello Plaza, we're going to give away 1 month of our Pivot membership away that you guys can be a part of and learn more about what our actual, membership is all about, to where we can help you. But with that being said, love, you got anything you want to add to this?
What you shared right now is seeing is believing. I was sharing earlier in our conversation here is that, those that were used to listening to a radio and all of a sudden TV showed up, try to explain what the TV is. It's like, it's the radio, but with a picture, a movie picture, a live picture. Like, it was hard. I mean, it's kind of like, you don't know what you don't know until you don't know it, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, I don't know it. And so the metaverse is the same thing. It's like, we can sit here and share with you all day what it's like, but how many of you have tried to explain to somebody maybe a good steak? You like a good steak and you're trying to explain to your friend, man, the steak was so good, and you're like, the flavors, and you can't put it into words. And that's the same thing like metaverse, when we are in and showcasing metaverse to others, you just can't put it into words. You got to go experience it for yourself. And here's the really cool thing, guys. You don't have to have just VR goggles, glasses to experience metaverse. You're all able to go experience metaverse through your phone. And I know David just said this, but through your phone, a computer, laptop. It's literally the way that again, there's multiple metaverse worlds. It's kind of like there's multiple restaurants out there. We all don't just go out to eat at a restaurant, and we all go to, Chili's or Applebee's or Chick-fil-A. There's a multitude of different styles of restaurants out there, and that's what metaverse is. It's like the same thing is there's a multitude of different type of search engines. Google's one of them, Bing, DuckDuckGo, Microsoft. Well, I think Microsoft is Bing, but there you go. And so my point being is that metaverse is the same way, and the world that we choose to bring forward to create in and showcase what we do is available via technology that you already have and you're already running your everyday life with. And the cool thing about this and why we do this and why we chose this is because we understand trying to get a community of people to go get their VR glasses and they're $300, $400, $500 a pop. That's not feasible, right? However, when you can go check things out by going through your phone and going out to the hellollc.io, which is nothing more than web-based, and being able to see have a virtual experience through a web-based platform, that's the bridge step. Now, one day we're going to be completely immersed into augmented reality where you're walking around and you have maybe going to be glasses. There's like a little layover on your glasses. Overlay is what I'm trying to say, not a layover. Layover is when you fly in. Overlay that will say, you got Google Maps up and you're trying to get directions to go to, a coffee spot to meet your friend. It's going to say, hey, take your next right in 100 feet. And then you get 5 feet from it. And it's like, take a right in 5 feet. And you get to the intersection that you need to take a right at. And it's like, take a right now. You need to turn right now. And you might see a little flashing arrow up in the corner or something. And it's laid over reality, the reality that you see, the street that you see, where you're walking or where you're, maybe you're on a little scooter or a bike. And the point being is it's going to be augmented to where your reality is going to have technology that's going to be overlaid on top of it. And so that's where we're going. But in the first and foremost, you have to make sure that you are getting there in small pieces, and they're not going to just take us there immediately, but right now there has to be a bridge. And so everybody has a phone, everybody has a smartphone for that matter, everybody has some sort of computer. Not everybody, but majority of people have a computer. And so why not bridge the gap with a world that you can do that? Now if you want the immersive, that's the key word, immersive experience, this is where you would have VR headsets to where you can be like, okay,
I'm sorry, baby.
I'm going to have an immersive experience.
If you see anybody in the chatter, you have to let them up. I can't let them up from my side. So if anybody is down at the bottom, you got to let them up for them to be able to hear.
Gotcha. No, there's nobody in here, love.
Cool. Yeah. Okay. I just wanted to let you know. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Gotcha. I just refreshed. There's nobody in there. So cool. But thanks for... Yeah, no worries. Thanks for the heads up. Absolutely. We don't want people to sit down there and be like, nobody's letting us in the door. But, so all I was, going to finish, standing out on the front porch, and they're like, I know you're in there. But, the point being is just understanding that there has to be a slow bridging the gaps. And so utilize the technology you have now. But if you want an immersive virtual experience, which is the key word, that's where your Oculuses, your VR headsets come in and be able to jump in there and utilize those and have an experience that is where it feels like you're actually there and you are the avatar walking around. That's what they consider an immersive experience. But you still get to have a virtual experience in a 2D form by, just looking at your computer, phone, or laptop, iPad, whatever it is. So, yeah, that's what I'd add to it, Mr. Jones, as we get ready to wrap up this amazing room. Back to you.
Yeah, I think...
I might have lost him again.
No.
I'm here. Oh, there he is.
I'm here. Well, we greatly appreciate you guys coming and joining us today. Definitely make sure you come and join us tomorrow for our Wisdom Wednesday room. That tomorrow's conversation is fear holding your brand back? Stop self-sabotaging your business. That's at 4:30 Eastern Standard Time. As you guys know, we have these rooms going every single week. I would say that we definitely have to be the most consistent out of all of these clubs. Me and Tar have been running these rooms since Success Airlines 3-4 years ago. Consistently on Clubhouse, now on all these other applications, and so we're not new to the social audio room. You might be new to seeing us, but we're always consistent. We're always committed. Just like Sahir down there, we know him from the old Clubhouse days, so he can probably vouch for this as well. We've been doing these rooms for 4 years, and we do them to help you out. But I'm gonna be honest with you guys. These rooms really help me and Tara get stronger. At building our business, building our brand, and us, growing our relationship better by having these conversations and hearing you guys' conversations and hearing some of the things that people are going through, that we're all going through, which is why we have our Getting Naked podcast, where we get real, raw, and authentic about being an entrepreneur and about being an entrepreneur with family and friends and all these things that most people don't go through, that we talk about openly and freely. And we want you guys to understand you're not in this alone. And so that's why we continuously share. We want more for you than from you at the end of the day. So whether you spend any money with us or not, go and get, we just offered everybody an opportunity to come into the Hello Plaza. Hopefully somebody's making their way to do that, to get access to our Pivot membership. Go get access to our 5 different, AI guides that we have as well, that you can take advantage of. And then, go listen to our podcast. There's so many free and complimentary things that Tara and I provide, openly and freely, especially with that AI guide. There's over 30 AI guides or apps that you guys can be implementing in your business right now. And so many times people talk about these apps and you're like, "Ooh, can you repeat that again? Or can you put it in the chat?" And, we got 30 of them, 30 plus, that you can go and get downloaded from our Biz in a Box and even sent to you. But most people won't do that. And that's why we share, just to be real upfront and honest. Do you want to, get better, or do you just want to get better? Because that's a different motion. And as Tara talked about, last week, in emotion, it's energy in motion. And most people talk about being authentic and having high energy, but that's cute and adorable that you're talking it. But do you walk it, and do you showcase it at the end of the day? And that's something that me and Tara do a lot. Even when I get off of these rooms with you guys, it's time for my ass to go run. That's what it is. And so holding myself accountable to being consistent and committed, in all aspects of my life, that is something that we encourage you guys to do as well. Baby, I don't think we both can talk today. But anyways, we appreciate you guys coming and join us. Definitely come and join us also, like I said, for Thursday, Discover Self-Love and Success with Coach K, Kimberly Martin. And as she reveals her brand new Biz in a Box, that you guys can all go to her LinkedIn. She's the godmother, of LinkedIn. And she was able to give us her keys to her business, to her broke down Pinto that she had. And now she got a Ferrari that she's rocking and rolling with. And that's really, I forgot to share that, earlier, is that, not utilizing AI and Metaverse is like your ass walking out your front doorstep, jumping on your horse, and you got boo-boo and shit rolling all down the road when there's a Ferrari in the car, in the garage, and you're not utilizing it. And the great thing is this Ferrari is nowhere near as expensive that we look at Ferrari, but it gives you that time back. It gives you that essence. It gives you that feeling that a Ferrari gives you. But a lot of us just choose to, get on that horse and be, have boo-boo all down the road. And it ain't cute, especially, if you live in Houston during the Houston rodeo, there's a whole bunch of boo-boo on the road that you definitely don't want to be riding with your windows down, because you can get the drift from there. And so, definitely upgrade your systems, upgrade your mindset first and foremost in all areas of your life. And you'll see the rest of the things fall in place, because then you'll have a different perspective. And if you change your energy, you change your world. And so with that being said, love, you got anything you want to leave us with before we get out of here? Oh, Tara.
Nope, you were lagging there just a little bit. But no, that's it. I mean, I just appreciate everybody being here and thank you for this conversation. It's been a great one. And, again, keep an open mind, an open mouth, an open heart, open hands. It allows you to, discover things, and then you don't get stuck and you don't increase your technical debt. But other than that, you know the drill. Love,
kindness,
and integrity.
but most importantly, commitment.
And consistency.
And until next time, toodles!
Toodles, thanks for being here, guys.